Hi guys, welcome to the Menu Planning Masterclass. My name is Allie Hively and I'm the founder of Keisha, a company that is created to empower you to feel like the best version of yourself through aligning your habits, your nutrition, your mindset, and your lifestyle. So today I really want to focus on our menu plan or our meal plan. And the menu plan and the meal plan have so much power in your life to make things easier for you, to make it more simple to fill up on the foods that you want to eat and feed your family and really cut down on stress. Because when you have a plan, and the plan works for you, then you're able to execute it and it's able to do what it's supposed to do. So there's a couple things that I really want to get into and share. And the first one is just empowering you to really look inside yourself throughout this masterclass and think about what works for you, your current life situation, the people that are eating with you, how you like to eat, what your goals are. And we're going to align all of those things to figure out what is a great meal plan for you. One thing I've learned after trying multiple different meal plans is that there is no one size fits all. So the quicker you realize that making it yours and the quicker you realize that the most customizable and the best plan is going to be the one that works for you, and that's what we're going to create, is going to be the most helpful for you. So let's get to it. I'm going to share my screen and we will get started. So hopefully by now you've had a chance to download the PDF that goes along with this masterclass, or you are having a notebook or a pad of paper out. And so, like I said, I started this company, Keisha, a few years ago to really empower specifically women to stop looking outside of themselves for validation of what they needed to do and really start to look inside themselves. And meal planning is one of those things that there are a bajillion options, but when you stop and you look at what your life situation is and your circumstances and the people that you're cooking for and the people that you're eating with, it's going to be so empowering to have a plan that's actually created for you and made for you. And so that's what I want to do today. So I want to remind you that following a strict meal plan may be something that you want, but it is not something that's sustainable and it's not something that works. And so when you order or when you find or when you print off a specific strict meal plan, it is almost like you're setting yourself up for failure. So you have this meal plan and you have really, really good intentions. You probably have a lot of motivation when you decide, you get all organized, and most likely it's pretty detailed and laid out there. And there's a lot of things that you need to do and a lot of ways that you can do it right or do it wrong. And so when that happens, you're opening yourself up for a lot of opportunities to quote unquote fail or fall off the wagon or, veer off the path or whatever you want to say. And so the first thing I really want to give you permission to do is let go of following a strict meal plan. And if you're someone who likes to follow a plan, then absolutely we are going to do that. But when you're following someone else's plan, there's just so much more room for it not to fit your life. And that all of a sudden brings up all of these opportunities to shame yourself and feel like you should be doing better or you should be doing something differently. And so I just want you to let that go and really look at this blank slate, this piece of paper, and know that we're creating something that's going to work for you. So why create your own meal plan? So this is going to be so helpful in making cooking and eating essentially easier. It's going to be easier to save time, easier to save money, easier to make healthy choices. When you have a plan and something that's kind of already laid out there, you're going to be able to really cut down on your stress and feed your family because you've put a little thought into what is going on this plan. You're not just completely winging it, and you're not coming home from work starving and then needing to grab something or pick up fast food on the way home. So it's really going to help everyone with all of those things. So the first thing I want you to do is take a second and really write down, how does dinner work right now for you? And I love this little quote, if you wait long enough, everyone will just eat cereal. And how true is that, right? If you wait long enough and you don't have a plan, then people will just start grabbing things or you'll start grabbing things. And so that's what we really want to avoid. So notice right now, how is dinner working for you? Are you scrambling to get things on the table? Is it working? Are you getting things on the table? Or maybe you're kind of two extremes. You either plan it and you cook it and it's like perfect, or it doesn't happen. Or is it very like an afterthought? So maybe at 7:00, you're like, oh, what are we gonna have for dinner? Let me pull this out. Oh, it's frozen. What should I do? Okay, let's just ditch this idea and go from there. So think about what your dinner plan looks like now and just write that down. Just get really clear. The first thing we always like to do when we're creating a change is create awareness. And so that's one of the best ways to do that. And then I want you to think about yourself. And I really want you to decide what is reasonable for you. So, again, when we're buying into external meal plans, when we're buying into someone else's plan, we might think like, that's what they do. That's what it says I should do. That's what my friend does, my sister does, my neighbor does. So I should do that. But you really have to decide with your personality and with your life schedule and with the people in your life that you're cooking for, what is reasonable for you. It might be reasonable for you to cook once a week. It might be reasonable for you to cook 4 days a week. It might be reasonable for you to cook 2 to 3. Do you even like cooking? Is this something you've even thought about? Or do you think that like you have to love cooking in order to make meal plans work? So do you have time to cook? Do you have time every night to cook? Or do you have time a couple nights a week to cook? This is really important to get really clear on. And so I suggest that you just take a second and kind of walk through each day and decide what's reasonable. For me, during the week, I like to cook 2 to 3 times. And then on the weekend, we definitely cook Sundays. And then usually one of the nights we'll do a takeout or something. So thinking about what's reasonable for you is going to be hugely important because then this is going to help this plan to be really realistic and it's then going to be able to work. So write that down for yourself on how much you'd actually like to cook each week. And then I want you to think about leftovers. So, how do leftovers work at your house? I am such a leftover lover that I mean, I purposely cook extra because I love leftovers. I love having warm lunch. I love having a leftover dinner for lunch. And so this works really well for me. But honestly, you need to be honest with yourself and with the people in your family. Are leftovers something that you can utilize in your meal plan, or are they something that doesn't work? I have one daughter who refuses leftovers. And so that's fine. We just know that. And so we can't count on it. And when we're cooking, we plan for that, right? So she's not going to have leftovers for lunch. But my husband and I love leftovers for lunch. So thinking about leftovers seems silly in this grand scheme, but it is actually really important because if you're not a leftover person, then your meal plan needs to account for that. So then I want you to think about your dinner goals. So get really clear. What are your dinner goals? And they can change over time. But right now, because you can always go back and do this again, what are your dinner goals? Do you want it to be healthy? Do you want it to fit a certain style of eating? Does it need to be vegetarian? Do you want it to be in the Instapot a couple nights a week? Do you want to make sure you have leftovers? Does it need to be really fresh, or are you a frozen person that you can pull out something you made ahead and recook it? Do you want it to be done ahead and done early? Do you want it to be something that your whole family can eat? Do you have young kids? Do you have medium kids? Do you have older kids? Does everyone in your family have the same goal? This is something I really run into a lot with clients, especially with, for example, older kids, where you have like the mom who is trying to eat a certain way. Maybe she's trying to eat definitely more fresh, more light, and she's trying to reach her own goals with nutrition. And then you have maybe a high school, college son who's trying to put on weight and like get stronger for his own goals. Then you have a husband and a daughter, or, whatever combination of kids that you have, and everyone kind of has different goals. And if that's the case, that's okay. We have a plan for that, but you just need to recognize that, and that's going to be built into your plan. So what are your dinner goals? And then I want you to lay out a typical week. And I like to do this by season because honestly, dinner comes every single night. And so it's one of those things that, like, when you think about it, you're like, oh my goodness, it comes every single night. But if you do lay out a plan, most likely Mondays are pretty similar in one type of season, especially when you have sports going on in your life with different kids or different activities for yourself. Tuesdays may be pretty similar. Maybe you have a book club or a Bible study or a Zoom meeting that you go to. Wednesdays are probably pretty similar. So when you look at a week, what is a reoccurring things that happen on a regular basis? And I want you to lay those out at the time that they are, and I want you to lay out the activity that they are so that you know how dinner is going to impact that, because our activities have so much to do with whether or not a meal plan works and then how to prepare and cook for that. So just go ahead and write down literally Mondays at our house, my daughter has piano. Tuesdays, my kids have tennis. Wednesdays, we don't really have anything. Thursdays we love to have make your own pizzas or whatever. So lay it out there and just take a second to get clear on it. Like I said, you can always pause this. You can always go back and rewatch it. You can always do it again when the season changes, but just lay out a regular typical week right now. All right. Now I want you to flip the page or find the section that says your go-to dinners and goals. And so, what are some of your go-to meals? So at our house, that's like tacos are a go-to meal. Make your own pizzas are a go-to meal. Eggs are actually a go-to meal, especially if we have a busy night. Spaghetti and meatballs, go-to meal. Shrimp pesto pasta, go-to meal. Roasted veggies and grilled chicken is a go-to meal. Chili and soups in the winter, go-to meals. Pork tenderloin, shredded barbecue pork, those are go-to meals. So I can probably list 10 to 15 go-to dinners. And then when I'm talking about goals, I want you to notice and identify if they are meeting your goals. So if you're saying that your grandma's mac and cheese and fried chicken is a go-to dinner, but that's not actually meeting your goals, then I want you to note that, because you can decide then if you want to use that dinner idea as like a treat dinner idea, or if you want to modify the recipe to make it meet your goals better, or if it's something that you want to kind of save for special occasions. So when you're looking at your weekly plan, your go-to dinners need to align with your goals. Otherwise, it is not going to be what you want, right? It's not going to feel like it's something that really works for you. So make this big list up, and then I want you to go on and take it to your family, and I want you to involve your people, involve the people that you're eating with, involve your kids, your spouse, whoever it is that you're eating with, your roommates, and I want you to talk about it. So what are some of your go-to meals? What are some of your favorites? And I want you to create this big master list. So hopefully you have 10, 15, 20 ideas on here, because these are things that you can then pull from when you're creating that meal plan formula. And of course, involving them in cooking makes it so much more fun. So then I want you to think about theme nights. What theme nights do you and your family really like? And this is a big one for us. We love theme nights. And one thing, especially if you have children that you're kind of trying to expose to new foods and you want to have them start getting into things, is to call them theme nights and then actually talk about the country that maybe is the theme night of the dinner, and also to just spark some really new ideas. So maybe if you have Chinese one night and then you kind of talk about that, or if you have Japanese one night, you talk about that. You have Indian is a big one for us. Thai is a big one for us. Mexican is a big one for us. Recently, we've been talking about different foods from Europe and South America that we can try. We have not ventured too much in the African dinner area, but that is something we want to explore. So really getting some ideas from different places can be really fun, and it can make dinner something that's more than just, oh, I have to get this done. And if you think of just doing a theme night once or twice a month, it doesn't have to, it could be as big or as little as you want. It could be that the theme night means that you're making crock pot Indian chicken, or theme night could mean that you like talk about different foods and then you try something new. Maybe you try a recipe and you maybe like build it up to be an experience. This is completely up to you, but it really does add some fun and some variation to your meal plan. The other thing is you could always find foods from different areas that align with your goals. If you search the words in your goals, so if your goals are vegetarian, you search vegetarian Indian dishes, or if you search easy make ahead Indian dishes, or if you search Whole30 Indian dishes, or if you search, healthy, fast Indian dishes, you're going to be able to pull up things that align to your goals. So using that Google search is going to be hugely helpful in giving you some new ideas. So hopefully right now you have your master list and you have your weekly plan of what happens. Now I want you to remember this tip. It can create lots of bowls, but I promise you it's worth it. And this is like whatever you're doing for a dinner, laying it out there to be like a bar. So if you're having Indian, for example, you have your chicken in one bowl, you have your rice in one bowl, you have fresh cilantro in one bowl, you have your vegetables in one bowl, you might have like a yogurt in one bowl. And then each person, maybe you have a cauliflower rice in one bowl, you have maybe shredded lettuce or greens in another bowl, and each person in your family is then able to make their own dinner, but you only cooked once. So what you made was one thing. You made an Indian meal with chicken and vegetables and rice. And what everyone is eating is tailored to what they want and what they need. So someone could fill their bowl with cauliflower rice and then veggies and chicken and cilantro. Someone else could fill their bowl with rice and then just add chicken. Someone else could fill their bowl with rice and cauliflower rice and chicken and veggies and cilantro. But what you're doing is you're cooking once and you're allowing everyone to make different things. This works great with any type of theme night, but it also works with any types of dinners. So if you're finding that your family is struggling to eat the same thing, This is a huge tip. When you make something like a casserole or something that's cooked all together, it's so much harder for everyone to find what they like because there aren't options. So creating options can create more dishes and more bowls, but it's definitely worth it to get people to enjoy the one thing that you're cooking. And then I want you to think, I want you to think about ways to cook. So ways to cook would be like, are you using your oven all the time? Are you baking? Are you roasting? Are you using your Instapot? Are you a cast iron skillet person? Are you a slow cooker person? Are you an air fryer person? Thinking about the different ways that you like to cook that are easy for you is going to be hugely important when it comes to creating a plan that works for you. And now I want you to make up your magical meal plan strategy. So you have your list. Monday, you have this. Tuesday, you have this. Now go through and put these pieces together. So when I say put these pieces together, I want you to have a formula. So maybe Monday is the night that you cook and you cook extra. So this is what happens at our house. We always cook extra. We grill extra or we cook extra because Monday we don't have much going on. My daughter has piano, but she's currently doing that on Zoom. So she's home and around. We aren't running around. So Monday we cook extra, plus we like leftovers for the week. So I just have Monday cook a meal, and then I can find a recipe for that, or I can use one of those to-go lists that I want to use. Tuesday is the night that I was working late, and so we would always have a theme night because it was something that could be made ahead, and I knew everyone would like it. So a lot of times I would throw something in the Instapot, like a protein to make like Thai or make Greek or make Mexican or make Chinese, and we would always have a theme night on Tuesdays. Wednesday is a busy night because there was soccer practice. And so this was something that I would also do an Instapot meal for, because when I had an Instapot meal, then it was all done ahead of time. People could eat it at different times throughout the day. And then Thursday was when Brady wasn't home. So the girls and I would oftentimes do leftovers or takeout. Sometimes we would have a salad bar night. Sometimes we would have eggs. This was kind of that night that was left open for us. And then Friday, we would lots of times do pizza. Usually Saturday we would go out somewhere, which has changed since COVID, but we would always bring a dish that we like to have. And Sunday we oftentimes made extra and got organized for the week. So what I want you to do though is notice how many times. So for this meal plan that's on the screen, this is for me. So I want you to do this exact formula. I would cook on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And I would know that I needed an Instapot meal for Wednesday, a theme night for Tuesday, and a recipe, usually a family favorite, for Monday. So those were the 3 recipes. Oftentimes on Sunday, we would do a family dinner. And so we would put something on the grill, or Brady or somebody would have another input in that. And then Thursday was leftovers, eggs, or takeout. Friday was usually pizza, and Saturday we had plans. So during the week, I like to cook. I actually love cooking. So cooking 3 nights a week was not a big deal. But you can always play around with this. Maybe Tuesday night is takeout night, and it's just takeout Tuesday. It's a busy night. You already cooked Monday. Probably you cooked Sunday. You're taking out Tuesday, and then you're back to cooking Wednesday. Notice how when you combine what's happening during your week and some of these really powerful meal planning strategies, you can create a system that works for you. So in the end, I want you to have a little list of like, I need 2 recipes and a family favorite, or I need 1 new recipe, 1 takeout idea that's healthy, and a family favorite. And that's what I need for this week. And then the rest is going to fall into place with this strategy and with this formula. And then what do you need to make it happen? Do you need new recipes? Usually the case is no. We have so much access to them on Instagram, on Pinterest, on the internet, with cookbooks and blogs and everything else. Do you need your family to come up with a list for you? Do you need a list of theme nights? Do you need a list of things that people eat as leftovers? Do you need some new takeout menus? Do you need some new tips on what you can eat that fits your goals, that is from a restaurant or from takeout food? What do you need to make this plan happen? And then I want you to be prepared for it to fall apart. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do when this plan falls apart? Are you going to run through takeout, or are you going to run through the fast food line, or are you going to go for leftovers, or go for eggs, or go for a big salad night? Are you going to keep something like a bag of frozen rice or frozen cauliflower rice in your freezer that you can quickly thaw and put some chicken on? Or what is going to happen when this doesn't work? Because we know that it's not going to be perfect, and it's definitely going to fall apart sometimes. So thinking ahead of what your backup plan is. Oftentimes for me, that's frozen brown rice, frozen green beans, and frozen chicken of some sort that I pull together, saute, stir fry, or sometimes it's like chicken fingers or a piece of salmon that I throw in the oven to cook. So having that backup plan is going to be hugely important. And I want you to keep in mind a rotisserie chicken is like gold when it comes to meal planning and menu planning. So there are so many things you can do with rotisserie chicken, from combining it with coleslaw and cilantro and an Asian dressing, to buffalo wing sauce and wraps, to making a soup out of it with white beans and cumin and chicken broth, to making a stir fry out of it, to using it through tortillas or making a chicken salad with it. There are so many things. When you are really trying to eat well and fill up on good nutrition, the most important thing is that you eat the food. And so if you need to utilize takeout or rotisserie chickens or things like that, that you're able to pick up really easily and simply, just give yourself grace and give yourself permission to do that. The most important thing is that you're eating them. You're not ending up with the Big Mac and fries. So as you're starting to integrate this, I would love for you to reach out if you have any questions or you need any support. And at the end of the day, I really want you to keep this in mind. Anytime you're anywhere, you can fill up half your plate with veggies. You can get those carbs in, your healthy fats, and your lean proteins. And you can be really picky and choosy because you are able to. And when you do, you're able to feel so much better. So if you need more information or this is really speaking to you and you want to figure out how to implement this better in your life, then check out the ways that we can work together. Or maybe the Foundations program is going to be something that's really powerful for you in creating these habits that are so aligned with ultimately where you want to go. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.